against Greenland.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Kriti Mehta and you're watching the World Report on NewsX World. Let's take a look at the top headlines this hour. Jailed former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak is found guilty of abuse of power in the biggest 1MDB trial to date. The verdict marks a major moment in the multi-billion-dollar corruption scandal and could have significant political impact. At least 15 people were injured in a stabbing at a factory in Mishima, Central Japan. Police arrested a 38-year-old man for attempting murder after multiple victims were stabbed and others sprayed with bleach. South Korea's investigation into the Jeju air crash that killed 179 people is set to miss its one-year deadline for a progress report. Officials say families are still waiting for answers as they continue to demand clarity on what went wrong. Myanmar's military plans phased elections in December and January, covering limited townships amid civil war. The junta admits voting won't be nationwide and results timing remains unclear. India has raised alarm over rising attacks on minorities in Bangladesh, citing nearly 2,900 incidents against Hindus and others. Concerns grew after a Hindu man was killed by a mob. Bangladesh has condemned the act and made arrests. The United States says it carried out a strike against Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria at the request of the Nigerian government. President Donald Trump and the US military say the group is accused of targeting Christians in the region. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says a call with the US envoys Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff brings new ideas on formats, meetings and timing to move closer to peace. He says he passes Christmas greetings to President Donald Trump as Moscow says it is analyzing related proposals. Meanwhile, Ukraine's Zelensky also says he expects to meet Donald Trump in the near future. He says the planned meetings aims to advance discussions on ending the war. Let's start with the top story now, viewers. 5 people have been killed in an explosion at a mosque of the Alawite minority sect in the Syrian city of Homs. According to the Syrian Health Ministry official, Najib al-Nassan, 25 others were wounded and the figures are a preliminary toll, indicating they could rise. Home City's press office says that an explosive device had detonated inside the Imam Ali bin Abi Talib Mosque and that security forces had cordoned off the area. Syria has been rocked by several episodes of sectarian violence since long-time leader Bashar al-Assad, an Alawite, was ousted by a rebel offensive last year and replaced by a government led by members of the Sunni Muslim majority. Joining me now in this discussion is Yossi Kapurwasser, who is an Israeli intelligence and security expert, and he joins us from Tel Aviv. Thank you very much, Mr. Kapurwasser, for joining me in this discussion. Who do you see behind the latest attack on this mosque?
Well, it's difficult to say, but it sounds as if it's some operation carried out by members of ISIS, the Islamic State, that were attacked by the Americans recently, and in response to attack by them against the Americans that left 3 Americans killed. That's what it seems like.
Would you say there's an recent increase in the terror activities that's been carried out by ISIS? Lately we saw the attack in Australia at Bondi Beach. We saw the bombing now at this mosque in Homs. And then just this morning, the United States has confirmed targeting ISIS in Nigeria as well.
Yes, we definitely are experiencing a wave of terror attacks by ISIS. But the truth is that they are trying all the time. We hear about their successes. We don't hear about their failures, and there are many failures as well. So it's hard to say that there is a specific reason why now and not yesterday, because they were trying yesterday as well. It's an ongoing effort by ISIS to kill as many Christians and many infidels as they can, and they kill Muslims not less than they kill Christians and Jews. And that's what they are trying to do all the time. And I think what we are seeing recently is that they had too many successes. That's the problem, and that has caused the United States to take action against them, both in Syria and in Nigeria. And this is going to be an incentive for them to carry out more terror attacks, and it's a spiral that is not going to stop anytime soon, in my mind, because there are enough radical Muslims within the Muslim communities that will take the lesson that they have to try harder to carry out more terror attacks.
All right. Well, for now, thank you, Mr. Kapavasa, for joining us in this discussion. And viewers, we're now going to move ahead. Now, Russia says it is slowing some weapons exports as it prioritizes supplies for its own military. First, Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manturov told state television the delays are partial, aimed at meeting domestic defense needs first. Let's in fact listen in to what the Russian First Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manturov had to say.
Определенный объем основных фондов также будет использоваться под производство продукции для поставки на экспорт нашей конкурентоспособной очень вооружения и военной техники. У нас очень много запросов. Мы вынуждены, естественно, ставя в приоритет задачи Министерства обороны, несколько откладывать планы по поставкам нашим дружественным странам, но не за горами этот период, поэтому мы точно будем наращивать военно-техническое сотрудничество.
Separately, smoke was seen rising from the Novoshakhtinsk oil refinery in Russia's Rostov region after Ukraine's military said it struck the site with Storm Shadow missiles. Russia's general staff acknowledges a strike on the refinery the same day. Ukraine's general staff said the Novoshakhtinsk plant is among the largest suppliers of oil products in southern Russia and supports Russian troops. Meanwhile, Russia's defense ministry said its forces downed 7 Storm Shadow missiles over the past week. Dr. Sergei Dvoryanov, who is the president of IDC Russia and director at WHD International Board, is now joining us in this discussion. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us in this discussion. How do you view the latest strikes, and more importantly, where do you think the peace talks are going forward?
Thank you. Additional discussion. Merry Christmas. First of all, we can see right now the agony of the Kiev regime. And of course, basically, our Russian army and our civilization right now doing very well on the battlefield. And we can see that slowly, soon we'll receive our victory. And of course, Mr. Zelensky, under the pressure of European politicians, he tried his level best to do some distraction against Russia. But basically, of course, everybody understands right now this conflict, deep conflict of civilization, especially with the support of peacemaking role of Donald Trump, current president of the United States, is very close to the end. And of course, soon we'll see the fruits of this peacemaking dialogue and peacemaking negotiations. But the main question right now, who will put the signature of this peacemaking agreement? Because Mr. Zelensky, he was not elected official president of Ukraine. And right now, inside his country, we can see that he has a lot of challengers and deep conflict inside elites of Ukraine. And that's why, and a big opposition as well. That's why, of course, we can expect very soon that it will be an official election, and we will see the new leader, real leader of Ukrainian nation, who will be a real peacemaker and who will take forward these peacemaking initiatives of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. And it will be a real proper agreement between our nations. And according to this agreement, of course, on the mainly on our conditions of the condition of Russian civilization, we can expect peace in all Europe continent.
All right. What about the question of the arms export that that are clearly being delayed now to prioritize its own war with Ukraine?
Of course, our Deputy Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manturov, he is advertised, he is officially explains that our main priority to receive our victory, of course, all facility from our industrial sector will be provide for this victory very soon. We are willing to continue to provide our military and technical cooperation between Russian friendly countries, friendly to Russian Federation. And at the same time, he mentioned in his interview that we can expect also to transform all this facility and to make some civilian products on the same facility in the close future. That's why it's only the question of strategy, how we should, during this deep conflict, because we are very close to the peacemaking conclusion. That's why we should definitely defeat this Nazi regime of Zelensky. And then after that, when we can expect the appearance of new leader of Ukraine, of course, it will be a real peace and it will be a real agreement between two our brothers nations, Russia and Ukraine.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Sergey, for joining me in this discussion for now. And with that, viewers, we're now going to move ahead. At least 15 people have been injured after a stabbing attack in a factory in central Japan, when an unspecified liquid was also sprayed on the people. As per reports, 8 people have been stabbed, while 7 have been injured with bleach. People were reportedly stabbed by a man with a knife in Mishima, west of Tokyo. A 38-year-old man has been arrested for alleged attempted murder at the factory. According to the local media, the suspect was carrying a survival knife and wearing a gas mask. The factory is run by Yokohama Rubber Company, whose business includes manufacturing tires for trucks and buses. Joining me in this discussion is Dr. Asta Chatta, who is Associate Professor of International Relations at Ritsumeikan University, and she joins us from Kyoto in Tokyo in Japan. Thank you, Dr. Chatta, once again for joining me here. Take us through the details of the attack, and if there's any, if there's anybody who's claimed the attack so far.
I mean, this is one of those very, very unfortunate incidents in Japan, given the fact that, Japan really rarely sees, violent incidents, and given it's a very low crime area. I mean, from what we are hearing, and I need to exercise caution here because there is even lesser available in the Japanese language media at the moment, and too many details are still in a question mark. But from what we are hearing, that this was a rubber manufacturing facility in Shizuoka Prefecture, in the city, Mishima city, as you mentioned, and 14 people have been injured. They are receiving treatment. The disturbing detail is that the attacker, or the accused, who has now been arrested, is being stated to be related somehow to Yokohama Rubber, which is the name of the factory, and was wearing a gas mask at the time of this attack. It is still unclear as to what exactly was the motivation behind this attack by this person. But what can be seen is clearly that people were very, very unaware. 7 people had been stabbed, though they're all receiving treatment. And it was reported that this person used a spray-like liquid at some point, and it was a hazardous chemical, because he was wearing a gas mask. So it's still unclear as to what was the whole objective and why these specific people were targeted. It raises a lot of questions with regard to safety and security here in Japan, because like I mentioned, we don't see a lot of these incidents happening usually. But given the fact that this person not only came armed with this chemical, but also with a survival knife, which was used to stab people, it again raises questions on safety of public in general or in their workplaces, and as well as the kind of weapons that people are allowed to carry. I can tell you here in Japan, pocket knives are also not allowed. And anyone on the streets bearing any such small arms as well is usually taken into questioning. So it's still very unclear how this person was able to enter this facility with all of these things that he was carrying. And lastly, it's still very unclear because we don't know what was the extent to which the damage has been inflicted. If something else happened inside, we have no idea yet. But that would probably decide the kind of punishment that would be given, or the kind of legal process that would be taken up against this person. Because the previous experience here in Japan states that some people who had been found guilty of physical stabbing incidents have either received long-term imprisonment, and very few of them, but there have been some cases where capital punishment has also been awarded to people like that. So it still remains a big question mark because not a lot of details are out yet.
All right, certainly. So no cause of, no motivation also has been established behind the attacker's stabbing spree as yet?
None at all, though the only thing that is out in the public right now is the fact that this person is somehow related to this factory, to this particular factory. And this person was seen entering the building, this person was seen wearing a mask. That's what the people who made the call to the police and the ambulance stated. But apart from that, there is nothing much that's out as of now.
All right. Well, for now, thank you, Dr. Chadha, for joining me and helping us with that information. And with that, we're now going to move ahead. Now, an Israeli reservist has rammed his vehicle into a Palestinian man who was praying on a roadside in the occupied West Bank. According to the Israeli military, the reservist had earlier fired shots in the area before carrying out the attack. The army said the act was a severe violation of authority. His military service has been terminated and his weapon confiscated. According to reports, the suspect is under house arrest. The Palestinian man was taken to a hospital for checks but was not seriously hurt and has since returned home. Video aired by Palestinian television shows a man in civilian clothes driving an off-road vehicle into the worshipper. The incident comes amid a surge in violence in the West Bank, with the United Nations recording hundreds of injuries this year and rising deaths on both sides since October 2023. I request Mr. Yossi Kaparwasa to join me back in the discussion here. He's an Israeli intelligence and security expert from Tel Aviv. Mr. Kaparwasa, this is a very grim attack. What kind of investigation is going to proceed from here, and how can such lone wolf attacks targeting single individuals, and innocent men at that, be prevented?
Well, the initial report indicates a very strange event and very unique and very exceptional attack. No, I don't remember something like that for a long time. We have to investigate what exactly was the case and what were the motive and what happened. And for the time being, steps are being taken against this person, and he's going to be facing investigation and probably put to trial. It's definitely is not something that characterized the Israeli soldiers in the West Bank. On the contrary, and most of the time is spent on trying to arrest terrorists, which they do quite successfully. And we shall have to figure out what happened here.
All right. Do you think there's anything that can prevent such attacks going forward, or do you see this only continuing going ahead?
Well, I don't think it's going to continue ahead. It's a very, as I said, a very unique and exceptional case. But definitely we should speak with the soldiers and make sure that they are aware of their mission and they are going to perform their mission and not do all kinds of things that are illegal. And that preparation before deployment to the battlefield is necessary to make sure that such cases don't happen again.
All right, well, thanks for your comment for now, Mr. Kapawasa, and for staying with us. And moving ahead to us, Thailand's defense minister will be joining the ongoing talks with Cambodia on Saturday that could lead to a truce, the Thai Prime Minister said, as border clashes between the two Southeast Asian neighbors continues for a third week. Anutin said if the defense minister is able to come to an agreement with his Cambodian counterpart, the two countries will be making a deal in line with the previous pact brokered with the help of US President Donald Trump following a previous round of clashes in July. Thai and Cambodian officials have been holding parleys at a border crossing since Wednesday as hostilities between the two countries continues. The ceasefire broke down in early December with at least 98 people killed on both sides and more than 500,000 displaced. The warring sides have also been pressed by Beijing to put an end to the fighting, with China's Special Envoy for Asian Affairs Deng Xijun holding talks in Bangkok and Phnom Penh in recent days. Moving ahead now, viewers, Taipei has conducted a security drill following last week's fatal stabbing attack in the city center that killed 3 people. The exercise ahead of the city's New Year's Eve fireworks celebration simulated 3 scenarios, including a Molotov cocktail attack in a subway station and an indiscriminate armed attack at a bus transit center and a shopping mall. 27-year-old Chang Wen let off smoke bombs at Taipei's main train station last Friday, then made his way to a mall at a nearby subway station, attacking people both inside the shopping center and on his way there. Chang died falling from a building during a police chase later. Taipei Mayor Xiang Wan-an, in an address in front of a group of firefighters and drill participants, said the drill was one of 3 planned before the Lunar New Year festive season in February. Listen in.
透过今天的高强度演练，我们要来彻底全面检视现行的防御机制，我们不遗漏任何一个环节。
Chuang, a Taipei resident and teacher who observed part of the drill, said the simulation was well executed and met the citizens' expectations. He added the December 19 attack had heightened security concerns, but Friday's drill assured him that the authorities were taking public safety seriously. Listen in to Chuang and other residents.
我刚看到这市政府演练呢，是非常完整性的，而且呢，它还搭配了这个百货公司的演练。那我觉得这个一切呢，都符合市民的要求，因为在未来啊，如果在发生这样的事情的时候呢，他们才会有一定的一个状况的因应，那对市民也是一种保障的安全的措施。
台湾，尤其是台北，一直都是还蛮安全的一个状态。那我觉得也是要有一些，像我们很常以前有地震演习啊，或是各式各样的演习。那我觉得是蛮必要的，就是至少说，如果真的有状况的话，要怎么去应对。
不管是这类型的演习，或者是不管战争或者是一般的危险的恐怖攻击的，我觉得这样的演习都有必要。那就是。 如果真的事情有发生的时候，我们至少有一些应对的措施，可以去把伤害降到最低吧。
That's all we have time for. Do keep watching NewsX World for all international news updates from around the world.